What's up, Frugalnauts? Welcome back to the Frugal BC live stream. We're talking Algorand news. We're talking crypto news. We're going to look at the charts. We're going to talk near. I don't think we're talking near today. We're going to talk Gala Games today, along with a few other things. We do this live stream every once in a while. Well, every Sunday now. We're doing it on Saturdays. I moved it over to Sunday. It seemed to be a better time for people. I know I've had some comments about some folks over in Europe would like an earlier time. We'll think about that, or maybe once in a while I'll do an early one, kind of like how the NFL Sunday has their London edition. Maybe I'll do my London edition, my Italy edition. We'll see. Hope everyone's doing well out there. I'm gonna put my video up here just so I can see the comments. And yeah, let's see. Well, we're going to talk about on-game gaming, on-chain gaming dropped by Gala Games. This is a big YouTube channel dropped by Gala Games. They've sponsored most of it, and there's a lot to talk about there. And there's some very specific reasons I want to talk about that. It talks about it's the idea of like there's some concepts around sponsorship and YouTube channels and why I've been so careful, why I don't want to take money from the foundation, and why I've been really careful and looking for some partners for the channel here. I just want to be people that I'm comfortable with, that I think are going to respect my editorial opinion. We'll get into that more. Is Snoop Dogg joining the Algo fam? Some interesting little insights there related to the popular musician from my teen years. Algorand proposal for Italian banks is accepted. Here's some of that boring but important stuff that Algorand is so known for doing that I think is really good and doesn't seem to get anybody excited for whatever reason. That's a whole nother topic I'm going to get into before we get into the news. Oh, NFD is launching its Vault program on testnet. I'm a big fan of NFD. Aaron Mazzoni's a cool guy. Interviewed him before. Speaking of interviews, before I read the rest of these, I don't know who's all on today. I don't know, but I don't know if you guys have seen my John Woods interview. I'm sure a lot of you have, but if you haven't, you definitely want to go check that out. We've really covered some good topics. I really wanted, my goal with that was to bring the heat. I wanted to bring some really good questions for him, things that I don't think other people are going to ask him. Maybe don't have the guts to ask. I don't know, but I wanted to be respectful of him. He's a cool. I think he's Adam Bergman recently in a video said that he thought John Woods was like probably the best thing that Algorand has going for it right now, and I think that's absolutely true. To me, he kind of has the same energy as like a Charles Hoskinson, but maybe better. And I think he should be the face of the company, frankly. But still, I wanted to bring him. I wanted to talk about a lot of stuff. So I think we really got into, especially the ISO 20022 stuff. Like I really wanted to dive into that because I thought that was so interesting. Patrick says, yes, it was a good interview with John. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, both Patrick and Pat Hartery, two of my longtime viewers, were in there and enjoyed that interview. It was a good interview. I just had a lot of fun with that one. I'll definitely have him on again. He said he really enjoyed it, appreciated the thoughtful questions. I think I've become pretty good. This is what I do for a living, so I'm pretty good at asking hard questions without being a jerk about it. But yeah, anyway, continuing on, we got LimeWire is in a money pit, and I'm going to show you this thing when we get to it. It's really funny, but it just made me think of that Michael Scott bit from The Office where he's trying to get the guys to join that telephone scheme, and he doesn't realize he's in a pyramid scheme. We'll talk about that. Apple allows Axie Infinity into the App Store finally. This is a big deal for a lot of reasons. Cosmic Champs has struggled to get into the App Store. And along with other crypto games, they've had just kind of an anti-crypto thing. So we'll talk about this and we'll talk about how much it means. And then the title story today is the new ledger tool actually safe? There's a new I don't want to say tool in exactly, but it's like a basically like a backdoor way to get in. But people, in case you screw up with your recovery, it's like a recovery tool basically. And some people are thinking this is like opening the door for exploitation. We'll get into that. Before we do that, hey guys, if you haven't hit the like button already, appreciate that. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe so you can see all our videos. We do about 2 or 3 a week, typically 3 a week, sometimes actually maybe even 4. That includes this live stream every Sunday at 4:30. Like I said, I might try to do an early edition once in a while, just for variety's sake, for my friends over in Europe. Also, if you want to look cool like me, or even cooler, probably. Let's be honest. I got in the description or out in the. I think they have a little bar underneath the video. You can see these hats. Where did they put that thing? I don't know. You might have to hit the little dots. I'm not sure. It's supposed to appear there somewhere. Maybe you have to go to the actual channel. I'm not sure. Anyway, these are available, and you can get a hat just like this or a t-shirt or whatever. Help support the channel, as well as I have a number of links that I forgot to put in the description, so you won't see them live. Boy, things are really going slow over there. So you can do that and check that out. And like I said, likes and comments are always helpful. Super chats, of course, welcome if you would like to do that. You don't have to, but always helps support the channel. For whatever reason, just bringing up okay. Having a little technical difficulties, as I always am, because my computers are always going slow for some reason. But let's see where we're going to go next. Before I get into the whole news today, and I hope you guys are all doing. I'll put it up. I'll put the chat up here so I can actually see it. Before I get into all the news today, I kind of just want to talk about something that I saw on Adam Bergman's channel. That Adam Bergman I've interviewed him on my channel. We've actually had the same hotel, not the same hotel room, just to be clear, but same hotel building in Dubai when we went to Decipher. So I saw, we usually met up in the morning. He would come to my room, or sometimes we would chat over breakfast. Anyway, he had a video recently where he talked about the transparency report, which was pretty much, I wanted to watch it because I hadn't really gotten to read it very much yet, and it seemed to regurgitate a lot of stuff that, based on his video anyway. I'm going to go read it over as well, but it seemed to regurgitate a lot of the stuff that I've already talked about on this channel. We've pretty much covered that news. Mostly we've covered it in these live streams, as well as some that I just made separate videos on, like AlgoKit, one-touch nodes, all stuff that John Woods and I talked about. The Care wallet, stuff like that. Anyway, he brought up a point that Algorand is doing all this great stuff, and why is the price so low? Why is it underperforming the other assets? And I did some charting over the weekend because I've been doing this Algorand DeFi experiment, and I've been tracking, like, well, what if you just owned $100 of Algorand? What if you just owned $100 of Bitcoin? I want to add near and HBAR to that as well, which is pretty easy because I can just go back and look up the price. But anyway, the point was, so I've been tracking these, and Algorand is like vastly underperformed Bitcoin in that time period. And like I said, the experiment's going to keep going. But why is Algorand so weak on price action when it's doing all this cool stuff? And I almost said something. I almost wrote something in the comments, but then I started thinking about it more, and it's like, I really don't know. I'd like to say I know. I'd like to have I have some ideas, but I'm not really sure. I think like this recent Pepecoin craze has made me realize that even the people who are Algorand people have never seemed to be as excited about Algorand as they are Pepecoin, which is just basically is nonsense. It's a joke, right? It's not a real coin. I mean, it's real as anything in crypto, I guess, but like there's no project, there's no tech behind it. It's just a an ERC20 based on an Ethereum based coin. Like it's not solving any world's problems. It's not solving any technical problems. It's not helping. It's not like Algorand, where its wallet is helping disaster relief victims or helping people bank in India or other countries. And yet everyone's excited about it. No one's excited about Algorand, even though it's doing all this cool stuff. But then I think like, well, Hedera also does a lot of that adult in the room kind of stuff, and that's how I've been describing Algorand. Algorand is kind of the adult in the room, and I don't get it. Like Hedera does a lot of this too, but people seem more excited about Hedera than they do Algorand, and so I'm not sure what the answer is. I know Hedera does some like cooler stuff around the edges, right? Like it's got that karate tournament that it does. It's like the MMA, but just pure karate. And you look at it, it's Hedera's all over the place. So some of these other chains are probably better at marketing, which is something Adam has said as well in the past. It's one of the criticisms he has. It's one that I've had. Oh, that's really not working. I'm going to shut that down. So I guess the truth is, I don't really know. I wish I knew, but I don't know. Maybe better marketing would help. It's got the NFTs. I mean, the NFT people seem pretty excited about the NFTs, and I don't know. I don't know why it underperforms. Now, one thing I do want to bring up, and I didn't know this until fairly recently. Algorand and DZ, it was DZ from BitBoy Crypto who pointed this out when I had him on the channel. It's that Algorand has never hit his launch price again. It was basically a botched launch. It was launched at like $3 and some cents. I think 3.18, something like that, and it's never hit that again. It's been in the low $2 range, as I recall, maybe 2.30 or something like that as a high. I should probably know that off the top of my head at this point, but it was like 3 something when it launched, and it immediately shot down to next to nothing. Just a horrible botched launch, and maybe it just never can recover from that. I'm not sure. Let's see. Patrick says so many good utility alts have bad price action, not just Algo. See HBAR, XLM, Cello. I don't know. HBAR. I mean, it's not like a PayPay coin to the moon kind of thing, but it seems more solid. HBAR has been working its way up the market cap, whereas Algorand has not. And HBAR, what you got to remember about HBAR, and I can't speak to Stellar has never been great either in terms of price, even though it's been around for a long time and apparently is a utility coin too. HBAR has been dumping massive amounts of supply on the market, and it's had an impact, but a pretty low impact compared to what you might expect. So, Hedera is one of the ones I mentioned. I think part of it is just the fact that Hedera has some really cool. It has some really cool partners. It has stuff that people outside of crypto recognize, which I think is a big deal. Doesn't have that much cool stuff going on yet. I mean, it kind of does, but not. The LG NFT thing is pretty cool because that's a big deal. And there's a lot of they're doing some of the boring, important stuff behind the scenes as well. So, I am a big fan of HBAR, but yeah, you might have a point that utility alts just don't drive that excitement, and maybe that's long term a good thing. I'm not sure. I wish I could say, I wish it was a little more steady sometimes, though. I mean, we're down below 16 cents not too long ago. Max777, and welcome to the channel, by the way, says, what if prices are kept low and the PayPay coin craze are all by manipulation? Well, I mean, let's see, how would I put this? I think a lot of people were hoping that the PayPay coin would kind of bleed over to Algorand, and there seemed to be the because you can bridge it through the Messina bridge. It was bridged over to Algorand, and you can trade PayPay coin for like next to nothing compared to ETH, where you're going to pay 4, 5, 10, 12, whatever it is. I don't even keep track of it because I don't do anything on ETH, and yet it doesn't really seem to have happened. It seemed to get Algorand people excited about PayPay coin, but I'm not sure if it really brought people over. I have been seeing a lot of tweets of, hey, have you heard of this Algorand thing? So, and I don't know, you never know with that stuff. Like, is it genuine, or is it something that is being set up? I don't really know. So anyway, that's my little rant on Algorand price. I probably scared everybody away now. Oh, not bad. We're doing okay. Well, let's get into the news. Okay, so this is a big one. On-chain gaming is a Web3 gaming YouTube channel. I watched a lot of it. Now, here's the thing about on-chain gaming, and the Jacob Borowiecki. I should know this. I'm a Polish guy too. He says, what if prices are kept low and the PayPay coin craze are all by manipulation? Well, I mean, it Borowiecki. I should know this. I'm a Polish guy too. he had a partnership with Gala Games, where Gala Games was funding funding most of their channel. In other words, he had two staff members, and he's talked about this publicly. He had two staff members, and he said flat out that if not for Gala's partnership, he wouldn't be able to have those two staff members. So a big chunk of their revenue is coming from Gala Games. Well, Gala Games recently ended its partnership with On-Chain Gaming over a video he made. So let's take a look at this. I hope this goes to the right one. Oh, darn it. Hold on. I always think I have this stuff going so smooth. Just a second. Let's go make one little thing here. For those that don't know, Gala Games is the company behind Townstar and currently Mirandus, as well as there's like some Champions thing and some other ones. It's a pretty big game company, but a lot of their games aren't live. They're just starting to kind of become live now. So let's look at what happened here, because Jake, in his own words, Jake Berwatsky. Actually, I don't know if that's Polish. Usually Polish is SKI, but could be. Okay, oops, that was the first one. We'll get back to that one. I thought it was this one. I'll just start pulling them. I'll pull them all up. Pat Hardery likes when I pull up all my browsers. I thought I had them. Oh, maybe I did put them in the right order. Okay, yeah. Okay, 1 second here. While I'm waiting, it says, "Hey BC, I thought Algo Foundation really mismanaged the FIFA opportunity." Well, I 100% agree with that. Wait. Okay, here it is. Well, I'll get to that in a second. For those who don't know, Gala Games sent a takedown request on my last Mirandus video. Mirandus is a kind of an open world action RPG kind of a game on the Gala Games network. And it said, so they sent a takedown request in their last Mirandus video, told him not to make other Mirandus videos he was working on, and ended the partnership with me. So, which, by the way, if they're gonna say, yeah, we're ending the partnership, I'm like, I'm not listening to anything you tell me. I'm gonna make all the videos, and they're gonna be worse than they were, I think. And so it's still debating if I should stream Go Gala Games Mirandus for old time's sake. Now he talk about, but they also didn't invite me to the YouTube Mirandus playtest, excuse me, so I'm pretty much blacklisted. Yeah, I wasn't invited either, by the way. Someone said, "That's a shame. I'm rooting for you, Jake. Hopefully another partnership comes through." Says, "I'm working on a plan to relaunch with zero crypto gaming sponsors moving forward. Only my real opinions, raw, no strings." Now, we're going to talk about the relaunch a little bit in a minute, but I want to talk about, this is why I've been so careful about what sponsors I might bring onto the channel. And yet I have not brought one yet. I probably get at least one or two in my inbox every week, and none of them are Algorand based. I've had a couple of Algorand. I have one that I hope happens, and when it does happen, I'll let you know. There's one that I've had talks with that I actually think would be great for the channel, because I like what they do, and I don't foresee any conflicts. Of course, you never really know, but there's one that I think would be good. So, and then a couple other ones that kind of, yeah, I just didn't. There's I've learned to spot certain red flags pretty early on, and they're not. Once I see them, I'm like, no, I'm good, because I don't want audience trust is the most important thing to me. You know, your guys' trust matters more than anything else. I mean, I could make I could take any number of these ones that have come through and make a quick buck on stuff that I don't really don't really believe in, but that's not what I'm going to do. It has to be something I want to use. So if it's outside of like Algorand, HBAR, Near, Cosmos, maybe Bitcoin. I don't think any way Bitcoin is going to reach out, but it has to be based on something I've heard of and am interested in. And from it could be new, but it has to be intriguing, and they almost never are. Then this one comes up, and I think this is really interesting. Recently, a well-known Web3 gaming content creator had to take a video down because they were partnered and it talked about ROI. So I should add a little context because he didn't really put that in there. What Jake had done is he talked about providing. So the Mirandus game uses Mitrium. That's like its native currency. Now, I think Gala is going away from this, by the way, because they definitely did on Townstar. The town coin crashed, and although they haven't really come back, they did pay out a little Gala for the recent Mayhem competitions, but otherwise they decided they're going away from town, and all stuff is just going to be handled in Gala. So I wonder how this was created before that decision. So I wonder how many other games are going to start using Gala and not their own coin. But anyway, so Jake had taken Mitrium and he created a pool on Uniswap, a liquidity pool, because liquidity was really, really low. And so some people had accused him of like trying to pump the coin using his video. I don't necessarily have a problem with him providing liquidity. I think that's actually a really important thing in the ecosystem to do. Like, yeah, he would probably make some profits off of it, but I don't know. I've done some liquidity pools, and our whole Algorand experiment is about how like a lot of times you get screwed on it anyway, so you don't really make those huge gains. So I don't really have a problem with it. But I think this is interesting. It said recently a well-known Web3 gaming content creator had to take a video down because they were partnered and had talked about ROI, which legally they can't. I don't know if is that true? I think it depends on how you talk about it. I've seen a lot of videos talk about ROI. I don't know that that's really true, but okay. Maybe he means that they didn't, or that was part of their partnership. Anyway, they then stated that blockchain gaming without ROI is pointless. Do you agree? Well, okay, let's keep going. And you can see I said agree need ROI, or did I? Or is that just who won? So personally, I can think of a lot of benefits blockchain can bring that has nothing to do with ROI. Do you have any examples? Well, do you have any examples? That would be my question. But this poll is just a temperature check to make sure I'm not making assumptions about this space. Yeah. And then Lycan Warlord, friend of the channel. In fact, I might interview him at some point just because I think he's a really interesting guy. Says the only reason Gala succeeded this far is ROI boys. Yeah, for sure. The real reason they dumped Jake Browatsky is because of his Mitrium pool stunt, which I just talked about. I don't know if it's that much of a stunt, but regardless, Gala's doing their best to pretend it's about the games when in reality, we all know the truth. And yeah, I did like that comment. And Gaspod WD says, not really following his stuff. Always been too money based for me. What is Mitrium? Well, dude, if you're going to talk about this, shouldn't you know something about this? Anyway, he says, I've never really got into Gala ecosystem beyond playing Spider Tanks and Superior. I don't even know what their token, their NFTs. Really, well, yeah, I want to be clear about this. Absolutely. Gala Games knows that they're selling ROI. They kind of went away from that when the town crashed because suddenly there was no ROI and they had to shut off earnings. So then suddenly they're talking about how the games are so important. Like, really? Is it? Oh, really? Because before, the whole thing was all about how important the ROI was, how you can play and earn all this money. I don't know. Let's just take Townstar as an example. Like, is it better for being a blockchain based game versus just a regular game? I'm not sure. Actually, I don't think it is. I think it'd be better if it was just a regular game because right now it's pretty much pay to win. They release their incentives as a company is to like keep churning out NFTs which eventually are just going to make them so powerful because they keep having all these NFTs in the game that replace real skill in the game. And if you're a regular player that doesn't have those NFTs or only has one or two, you just simply can't compete. And there are some ultra powerful NFTs that aren't nerfed in any way. So like there's a dragon that you could, so gas production, building up gas production in the game. For those that don't know, you're basically building a town. It's kind of like a cash flow game because you got to keep your cash running. You got to keep your town or your farm running. It's really more of a farm than a town, but you have to keep that running. Well, gas production, being able, you start with 40 gas, but you have to make your own gas at some point, and that's a big part of the game. But if you have this dragon NFT, you instantly can send. You don't need to do gas at all. That is a huge advantage in the game. So, and they don't have a non NFT, and they never will. By the way, they'll never have a non NFT competition. It's always going to be set up for people to buy more NFTs so they can keep being competitive. And because you have to keep buying those NFTs, I don't think you're ever going to make money. So I don't think there actually is any ROI here. And now, back in the day when there was still earning just for playing the game, you just had to complete like 1,000 points a day or whatever it was. I think then they went to like where it increases. By the way, gaming earning not back on, and none of their new NFTs are going to earn. So yeah, they're kind of going away from that. So I don't know, like, what is the point? You can say, well, you can own them and trade them. It's like, yeah, well, go trade those old NFTs on OpenSea and let me know how much you get for them. Because like my $300 Townstar NFT is you can get for about $15 now. So yeah, great. I get hosed. I get the right to be hosed by it. That's wonderful. So I don't know. I'm not convinced, but anyway, I want to show. But anyway, on-chain gaming, I mean, he would say some stuff. He would say like, "Oh, I'm not influenced by these, by the fact that I am sponsored by Gala Games at all. I say whatever I want." It's like, no, you don't. Absolutely, no, you don't. I think he's always known that. He's a very compelling speaker. It's hard. I don't dislike him, by the way. I just want to be clear about that. I think he's a great speaker. I just think he was too. Okay, let's see what he has to say. I'm working on a plan to relaunch on-chain gaming in a few months with 0 external sponsors going forward. None. I don't think you got to do that. Just be really careful. Really, really careful. And have them be like complimentary, like a wallet or something like that. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, there's no money bias, no clauses limiting my free speech. So he admits that there are clauses limiting free speech, which contradicts what he said, because he said there's no way I'm not telling you guys the truth. So he has said that on his channel, because he would get a lot of flack for people saying, well, you're sponsored by Gala Games, you never say anything negative against them, which I think we all kind of knew. I mean, it's not a surprise, but it's just interesting that he basically admits that there were clauses limiting his speech. No requirement to cover certain games. He must have had that requirement. Only real takes based on what I want to talk about in Web3 gaming. Entirely based on the fundamental truth. Never any strings attached. Well, I mean, that's good. I just decided I was going to do that from day one, like, because I saw the potential danger in not doing that. Funding for video production will come from promoting my own apps. I've been building some epic stuff with my new technical business partner. Okay, that's kind of cool. First one is AI related, but the second is exactly the app I think we need for Web3 gaming. The first will be launched within the month. Okay. And Patreon. It's weird that it doesn't talk about YouTube ads. I mean, I know it's not much, but it's not bad. A channel at his size, I mean, he's making decent stuff, right? Not enough to pay like all these extra people to have a staff, I don't think, but I don't know. I don't think you need it. He could do it. He could do it on his own. Anyway, he says, while I will continue investing in projects I believe in, I will always fully disclose where my bags are. I'd love to hear constructive feedback on this plan. Would this be the on-chain gaming you want to see? Any interesting comments? How can you do such a drastic 180 on Mirandus? For over a year, he kept saying best project ever. How can this change so suddenly? Interesting. And he says, "Where did you hear that I changed my views on Mirandus? Not doing sponsored content doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean I won't cover Mirandus, but it means I can say anything and everything I want about Mirandus." Yeah. Okay. I am very curious. Yeah, we'll just. I am very curious what he'll end up doing. So I want to see what the channel looks like once he's relaunched and is actually saying what he believes in. Like I said, he's a really good speaker. He's a great YouTuber. I just had a problem with I didn't trust what he said because I knew he was sponsored by Gala, and there's all these problems with Gala games, and I knew he wouldn't be able to say it. Let's see, Junaid Shabar. I hope I pronounced that right. I apologize if I didn't, but welcome to the channel. It says camera quality is sweet. Yes. I talked about this a couple live streams ago when I started this, but I figured out how to use my Sony A7 mkII as a webcam, and it's funny because it's there's just a couple little settings you have to do, but if you don't know to do it, you wouldn't know where you have to do it. So you actually have to, for example, you have to start on the auto setting, and then once it's running, then you have to switch it over to movies so you don't get that like constant auto focusing. And there's a setting in the menu that you have to select as well. So yeah, I appreciate that, man. I'm really excited about it. I was really excited the day I figured it out. I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna look great. I just couldn't. I figured it out on like a Sunday morning, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait to live stream so I can show people. It's awesome. Patrick says, well, actually, let me get back to Cardamomo. He says, hey, BC, I thought the Algo Foundation really mismanaged the FIFA opportunity. Yeah, and I agree with that. And I don't know if it was either the mismanagement was either with how they set it up, or it was with how they managed expectations. Because I think a lot of people, for one thing, thought they were going to start seeing the Algorand logo, but also it was very surprising that FIFA did not promote their. I thought during the World Cup you would see FIFA promote their own NFTs. It's their product. They're selling a product. Why wouldn't you use that platform to sell your own product? Because then it occurred to me, no, they just want money from us. They want money from already people in the Algorand space. They want us to get excited about and buy it. So they're extracting value from us and not selling it to other people, which would have benefited from us. And that was the biggest frustration. Could the foundation have done something about that? Hard to say, because I would have assumed that as well. I would have assumed that, oh, well, they're going to have this product, and why wouldn't they promote it? Of course they're going to, and they did not. Patrick, now we'll get back to you. He says, Algorand Foundation stuffed up the release of DeFi awards this round too, causing unnecessary negativity for devs in the community. Yes, they did. Definitely, I actually covered that 3 or 4 live streams ago. But yes, he says, Algorand Foundation needs to get better organized and communicate better. Well, I 100% agree with that. Totally. Let's find something else to talk about now. We've only gotten through the first one. Here's a fun little one. Is Snoop going to be an AlgoFam member? Now, remember we talked about John Cena last week? The wrestler who apparently is all of a sudden following all these Algorand accounts. He didn't follow me. I'm a little hurt, but still time, John Cena. If you want to follow Frugal BC, he'll be happy to have you, and I'll follow you back. I will. AC Max says just logged in. Pepe or Coop? Okay. So I thought this was interesting. This is a short little thing, but Stacy Warden, CEO of Algorand Foundation, says I call him Snoop. We're pretty friendly now. So apparently, it appears that Snoop Dogg is talking to the foundation, according to Stacy jumping on a LinkedIn live today. LinkedIn, you guys use LinkedIn? I like never. I'm on it. I don't know. I just hate. I hate everything about it. I just don't. I'm on there, and it feels like one of those terrible like chamber networking events that your work will make you go to or something, and you just hate it the whole time because you just feel like nobody's having like a genuine conversation. Everyone's just trying to trying really hard to network with a capital N. That's what LinkedIn feels like. It feels like the online version of that. I haven't watched the video, but pretty interesting. If Snoop is getting in the Algorand space, could be very, very good for Algorand. That's really all I've got to say about that. Junaid Shabir. Again, I really apologize if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Considering the size of FIFA, you would think there would be a lot more action. FIFA is massive. Yeah. Well, that's why it was surprising. I think that's one of the expectations that people had. Now, I personally didn't expect to see the Algorand logo everywhere in FIFA, but I definitely thought they'd be promoting their own NFT somewhere and just saying, "Hey, by the way, you're watching the World Cup, you can get an NFT of this cool goal and stuff like that." But it didn't happen. Okay. And he says, "What Junaid says, what I find really impressive is the Travel X progress." Yeah. Did I put that on there today? No, I didn't, but I saw what I think it's 200,000 NFT tickets created now through that program, through the one airline doing that. So hopefully some more airlines will jump on board, because I do think I did cover it, but not the most recent number, but I have covered the Travel X thing, which is probably one of the cooler things happening on Algorand, to be honest. Speaking of boring and important stuff for Algorand, Algorand proposal for Italian banks accepted. Now, I talked about this and earlier live stream, but let's look at the details of this, because this is pretty interesting. I'm going to close some tabs too, just to keep things running. For anyone who doesn't speak Italian here, and that's probably most of us, I assume, here is the proposal by Algorand that was accepted by the Central Bank of Italy today. Italian government bond trading coming to a blockchain near you. The project proposes the creation of a government bond tokenization platform on the Algorand blockchain, with the management of the processes of issuing, placing on primary market, and trading on the secondary market, regulated through smart contracts, executed in a secure, scalable, efficient way on the Algorand virtual machines. And by the way, guys, if you didn't see my interview with John Woods, you should go check that out. We talk about the Algorand virtual machine. Not a lot of blockchains have that. Ethereum has the EVM, Algorand has the AVM. I'm not sure a lot of other ones have that. There's probably one or two, but the platform manages privacy and security by integrating KYC and AML functions, portfolio management, and asset management for complete asset life cycle management. Well, that sounds very important. Payments of delivery versus payment operations on the platform are settled in real time through a proposed integration between the Algorand protocol and the pan-European platform TIPS, which is Target Instant Payment Settlement. So that's one of those things that it's like, I mean, I got bored reading that. I'm not going to lie. But that's a lot of really important stuff happening. Payments of delivery versus payment operations, just portfolio management, asset management. It's just operating in the background, doing all this cool stuff. It's really, really important. That's the kind of stuff that Algorand is doing. That's what's exciting about Algorand. All right, what else we got? Oh, an NFD is launching its Vault program on testnet. This is really cool, and I want to show you guys this. John Mazzoni. Yeah, NFD is a big fan. We're big fans of NFD here on the channel. Live on testnet, NFD vaults. And if you guys don't know what NFD is, it's when you have that .algo. It probably came from them. There's two services. There's Algorand naming service as well. I don't think they're really active. And I actually got that first, and like it works nowhere. Then I got the NFD version when I was at Decipher, I bought it, and it actually works. Imagine that. So we're definitely big fans of NFD. It works. It's cool. It makes basically your name.algo as your wallet address, which is much, much easier. Although I'm not sure if That's something I should go over with Mazzoni is like, how does this work when how does this work when you had to rekey your wallet? Because a lot of us had to rekey our wallets in the whole my algo hacks. NFT vaults store assets in your NFT. Unlock vault to receive assets without opt-ins. And actually, let's just look at the link because this will make much more sense. Let me just give me a second. Trying to keep myself hydrated here. NFT vaults finding a happy medium with opt-ins. What's an opt-in? Before an Algorand account can receive a specific asset, it must opt in to receive it. Yeah, you guys know that. So it's nice to keep unwanted assets away, but it adds friction when you're trying to add new assets. This is a major issue for airdrops and giveaways, but also for regular users sending each other NFTs, which will all have unique ASA IDs. Yeah, I remember I borrowed a critter from one of the what's it called? Fractal Monsters. I borrowed it from one of the people on Twitter, and it was kind of a pain because I was really nervous, like if I didn't have the right asset opted in. So definitely know what they're talking about here. ARC12 is soon to be introduced and will function much like a temporary escrow account for asset transfers, while ARC12 allows for a one-time sending of an asset that the recipient can either claim or reject. NFT vaults offer much more flexibility and control for users. Vaults function as completely independent Algorand accounts that can hold algo and any other asset or NFT, all controlled by the NFT owner. So you have like auto opt-in, opt-out. It's pretty neat. Asset management, so you'll be able to see allowing users to transfer assets between their account and vault or any other NFT account or its vault. So the vault is essentially the NFT, meaning all assets travel with it. So you could sell or transfer your NFT along with all of the assets. So you could transfer, like you could sell, like if you wanted to trade like a giant NFT collection, that'd be a really, really easy way to do it. And look at all those PayPays. PayPays. Yeah, pretty neat. I think that's really cool stuff. That's a big innovation, actually, and that's the reason why I wanted to cover it on here, because I think that's really, really cool. All right, what else we got? I'm going to skip the LimeWire thing today. Let's go to this Axie Infinity story because I think this is really interesting. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it, but basically, the App Store is allowing Axie Infinity to be on the App Store finally. And they've had just this kind of negative view of crypto and crypto games. And so this is kind of a big step forward for Web3 gaming. I'm going to close some. Let's see what this has to say. Yeah, so Axie Infinity Origins will be available on Apple's App Store in a select number of countries throughout Latin America and Southeast Asia. So it sounds like not the US. The game's creator, Sky Mavis, is hopeful Apple allowing users to play Axie Infinity Origins on the iPhone is a step towards wider adoption of Web3 gaming. Yeah, it lost a lot of users in 2022, as did a lot of other game companies. You know, that happened a lot with Gala too, especially with Townstar, and there was a lot more people in the competition on this most recent one with the Godot version, but we'll see. Let's see. Yeah, so it looks like it's Sky Mavis that's controlling the limited rollout because he says that will help the company gather data around retention rates before an eventual global launch. So it does look like it's going to come out for the App Store. I wonder what the Mavis Hub is. Interesting. So countries where Apple users will be able to download the game include Argentina, Colombia, Peru, Mexico, Venezuela, Indonesia, Malaysia, Vietnam, and Vietnam. The company said so. If any of you guys are in those countries, you'll be able to play it. Hope Apple comes around to NFT. Sky Mavis executive is optimistic Apple's policies will eventually evolve in favor of Web3 companies. Well, we'll see, right? We'll definitely see. But I think that's good. I think that's good news for crypto in general. Being shut out of that was kind of rough. Let's see. Okay, I'm just going to get to this last one. Is the new Ledger tool actually safe? So there's a new tool on Ledger that's allowing for, we're going to get into the details, but basically it allows a secondary way to recover your account. And some people are a little worried about exposure and security, and maybe understandably so. Let's take a look. Ledger defends crypto wallet recovery tool against hostile reaction from security experts. Ledger introduced a recovery tool that lets its hardware wallets send encrypted shards representing the user's seed phrase to third parties, which can then be used to recover it. Many users took to social media to express their concerns about safety implications of introducing this functionality. Yeah, so it's called Ledger Recover. It allows users to opt in and subscribe to use it as a backup for their private keys. The service splits the user's seed phrase into 3 encrypted shards and sends them to third-party companies. This information, when combined and decrypted, can be used to reconstruct the seed phrase. But the proposal has sparked a backlash among security experts and many Ledger owners. It's a horrendous idea. Don't enable this feature, says Polygon Labs Chief Information Security Officer Mudit Gupta on Twitter. So this is not just like a random, Twitter guy. This is someone who works for Polygon Labs, pretty high up on security. Problem here is not splitting the key in 3 parts. That's actually good. I may or may not be doing that personally as well. Smiley face. The problem here is the encrypted key parts are sent to 3 corporations and they can reconstruct your keys. Yeah, maybe. Interesting. And then, of course, a lot of other people said, we can't even name their account. The co-founder and VP of Innovation Lab at Ledger replied on Reddit, said, the device sends encrypted shards of your seed to different companies. If you decide to use the services, you can, of course, still choose to back it up yourself. This doesn't change the security assumptions compared to a firmware update, he says. Yeah, so I don't know. What do you guys think? You think that's too dangerous or not? I don't know, but very interesting stuff. Well, anyway, guys, I hope you guys all are doing well out there. Hope you guys enjoyed our crypto news today. Very interesting stuff. Remember, we're still in the bear market. We've had some little fun runs, but we're still a long ways off from where the good stuff happens. So, did I just freeze? Oh man. All right. Well, that's probably a good sign that we're done today. So, hope you guys are doing well, and not your keys, not your crypto. Get your stuff off of exchanges. Ledger for the maximum safety. And as always, I'm Frugal PC, and I will see you in the future. There we go.